Hello and welcome back to Bikemap Explained. So in today's video, we'll be sharing energy saving tips for when using Bikemap and in particular our navigation feature. So the first tip is using low power mode on your operating system, whether that be on iOS or Android. So what this mode does is it limits data usage, reduces screen brightness, adjusts how often the display refreshes, and disables background app updates. You can easily activate it via the control center on iOS, as shown on the screen here, and on Android it's probably very similar. And yeah, as you can see here, there's a shortcut for enabling the power saving mode. You'll know when it's active when the battery icon in the top right corner turns yellow. So tip number 2 is use our self-guided navigation. So we actually have 2 possible navigation modes now. The first is turn by turn. And that's when, you're using turn by turn instructions and it gives you an instruction for every single turn you make. However, self-guided navigation, your route is displayed on the map, but you won't receive the turn by turn directions during your ride. So this means it's basically more of an overview where you navigate yourself along the route. This means you also don't need to keep the display constantly active, which saves a lot of energy. This is particularly useful in rural areas with fewer intersections. In urban areas, you might still prefer turn-by-turn navigation, as, yes, you're making a lot more turns. So the third tip is to adjust how often the map refreshes. So you can do this in combination with self-guided navigation, and basically you can choose via the settings how frequently and what way the map updates. And you basically have 3 options, and it's all surrounding the arrow here on the right-hand side of the screen there. And it's basically, if you tap that, you go on to different options. So the first option is automatic north orientation, which it's showing right now. This means that the map always aligns to the north, making it feel like it moves in sync with the direction of your device. This is useful for understanding where to turn, but consumes the most energy as the map movements are obviously very frequent. The second one is a static map with location centering. So this would be the arrow filled in, but it's not directly to the north. This means that the map no longer orients itself to the north, but remains in the direction you've set. Your location stays centered on the screen, but yeah, that's it. This reduces map movements and saves energy somewhat. And the third option is, if you press it again, there'll be no filled in arrow. And this is a static map without location centering. So this is the most energy efficient option, and it's where the map doesn't move at all, but your location is still updated. So if you reach the edge of your screen, you need to manually move the map to see the next section of your route. This obviously updates the map very minimally and conserves the most energy. However, it might be a bit annoying if you're actually out on a ride and have to move the screen across. But if you really want to save energy, that's the best way to do it. So the fourth tip is switching your device and the app to dark mode. This is especially beneficial for devices with OLED displays because black pixels are entirely turned off with OLED technology. And you can use it in combination with our new Eco Map style, which really optimizes it further. This is because large areas of the map are 100% set to black, which saves even more energy, as you could imagine, and you can see it there. So the Eco Map style, along with it having large areas of black, also features fewer details, which reduces rendering and saves additional power. We would say it's not ideal for route planning, but it's great for navigation when your route is already set in stone. So the fifth tip is reducing screen brightness, or turn off the screen entirely and rely solely on voice directions. So as you can see here, you can open up the control center on your phone, and that's usually how you will reduce screen brightness, which obviously reduces energy consumption, but maybe when it's too bright, this isn't possible. But a second alternative to that is to rely solely on voice directions. So this allows you to store the phone in your pocket and avoid using the screen altogether. You might want not to do this on every route if it's a particularly complicated route, but if it's relatively simple, I think it could work very well. And then the sixth tip is using offline routes. So you can also save energy by downloading the route for offline use before your journey. This way, the app doesn't need to load or update data during the ride, and it saves a lot of energy. And your device is usually always in airplane mode, which saves even more. And this is probably our biggest tip to save energy on your ride. And the seventh tip is only for iOS users, but they can take advantage of the new live activities. So I think it's in the iOS 17 and 18. Yeah, this feature doesn't display a map, but on your lock screen, you'll still get turn-by-turn directions and voice guidance. And if you have a slightly newer model, I think it's 13 Pro and up, you can combine this with an always-on display feature, which means that your display can always stay on, so you constantly have this live activity thing there, and then you really don't have to turn on the app and have the screen taking up loads of energy. So yeah, this combination can really save a significant amount of power whilst keeping navigation accessible. And the final tip, it's not necessarily to do with Bikemap app specifically, but it's use a power bank for extended rides. So they're relatively cheap these days. You can get them in a lot of shops or online, and they're really good. There's even lots of battery packs where you can put it on your phone and then the whole package goes onto your bike on your holder. And I find these are really good, save space, and yeah, it means that you basically don't have to worry about battery at all for big long journeys. But yeah, you can also use the previous tips to really make sure that your battery lasts a long time. So yeah, that's it for our tips on saving energy with Bikemap navigation and the app in general. We hope you enjoy your ride, and we'll see you next time for the next Bikemap Explained.